Yo, what's up guys? If you are a lover of action RPGs and you also like the extraction game genre like Arc Raiders or Dark and Darker, and you're looking for something that has fantasy, medieval combat with wizards and archers and big buff warriors in an extraction type of environment, well, there is a new game that you might be interested in, and that game is called Eldegarde. Now, the game had its, official big release, like its 1.0 release on Steam on the 21st of January. So I've been playing it for the last couple of days, and let's talk about it. If you've never played an extraction game, the way these work are you have a character, you'll build that character, you'll have skills, you'll pick your abilities, you'll pick your gear, and you'll load into a map, which is like a lobby with a bunch of other people. And you will go out and you will fight monsters, mine rocks, hit trees, open chests, raid dungeons, and you will try and get as much gear and loot as possible. And then you will try and extract that gear at the end to go back to your hideout, where you will then dump all your gear and you work on your progression. You build your buildings, you upgrade them, you craft, you sell, and you do all that kind of stuff. And then you will have better gear and you'll go back into the lobbies and you'll do it again. That's kind of how these games work. And that cycle for me, I love it. I think they're really, really, really fun. I'm a big fan of these type of games, but not many games really do it well. So let's talk about this one. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to do was just jump into the game and show you the gameplay loop. So you go into a match, you mine some rocks, you fight some goblins, maybe you beat some enemies, and you have a full inventory of items. You come back, well, what do? Well, let's go over it, because that's what makes or breaks an extraction game. And if you've never played one, you might have no idea what that even means. So first up, you have your characters. You start out, you make like a house name. So I made like medieval, you give it a banner, and then you can make any character. So you can play every single character. There's 6 characters right now. So you can play all of the characters on one account with no restrictions. So you can make all the characters and they level independently. So they all have their own progression. They have their own skills. They have their own trait tree, which is like a skill tree of unique things that character can do. So there's constantly a sense of like leveling up and progressing your character. And then you have your lodge, and this is like the key progression that makes the game so fun to me. So if you go to the city, you have all of the vendors that you can go and sell to and buy from. So you can go to like the weaponsmith and you can buy and sell things like that. You can craft weapons and stuff like that, upgrade them. But you have the lodge. When it starts out, you won't really have anything, and as you collect resources, collect items, you'll be able to unlock these different buildings. When you unlock the cooking pot, for example, you can then cook meals. So you can put some food in here. It will give you a permanent buff for a couple of runs to make you stronger, and you can then level it again. You'll be able to make better meals and more high quality food. When you go and you unlock the different types of crafting stations, you have like a forge, a loom, a tannery, a sawmill. You can put items in here. So for example, you put leather in, and it will start making, you put like the scraps in, it will start making leather. You can put things like ore in and it will start making bars. And that gives you advanced progression of the different buildings. And this is really rewarding because then you're constantly on the lookout for new things. And you can see here to get the different upgrades. Oh, I need to go find, an iron gear, some glint dust. I need to go and collect some tree resin and some charcoal and some steel tongs. And you're constantly on the lookout for different items. Maybe you'll beat some goblins, get into a house, and you'll find the tongs on the side and you'll go, oh, I need those. And you'll grab them and you'll be like, oh, I need to get out now because I have the item I need to upgrade this next building. And it's a really satisfying gameplay loop. On top of that, it ties into, your crafting. So then you can craft better gear for all of your different characters, which is just really cool. So that's why I think the game is like so replayable. On top of it, you have like giant quest trees as well, so you can go on these big quest campaigns to get rewards and permanent cosmetics and stuff like that. So that's kind of the gameplay loop. And on top of that, you're also trying to get the best gear possible. So all that feeds into getting yourself better gear. So you start out, your character will have like basic 3 items, the basic 3 pieces on the left. And then as you find better items in the game, so for example, if I switch this character, you can see you can start to find like rings and blue gear with sockets and things like that. And the characters start to get much more exciting, much more interesting, and you get new abilities. And all these different items impact your character. Like when your flying seed sticks to a target, they become snared, and this helmet increases the maximum number of active bear traps. So the gear isn't just a stat stick, they all change how you play the game, and finding the right builds is a really exciting part of the game. So yeah, that's kind of hopefully explain like what that gameplay loop is. Now let's talk about, when you're not upgrading your character and doing all that, what does the game feel like and how is it to play? Okay, now let's talk about the gameplay and what they're calling PvPvE. So you have a choice to load into a different type of lobby map, and they are PvE servers, which are relatively safe. Then you have like a harder PvE server, and then you have a PvP server. And that means no matter where you go, you're going to be fighting all these different monster types, from the small goblins, the skeletons, up to the big boss type monsters that can be really challenging. And on some of those servers, you can work together with other people. So there's VoIP, there's chat, so you can talk to people and say, want to fight this boss together, or you can just naturally, form up and help people in game. Or you have the PvP servers, which is more trying to hunt each other down and take all of their stuff. When you defeat someone, you take all of their gear, loot. So other than what's kept in like their safe pockets kind of thing. So that's the gameplay. And then there are also with the new additions, you have like these bosses, these boss modes where you can play with friends and PvE against bosses, and you have these arena modes, which is pure PvP. So there's pretty much a huge amount of content depending on the type of player you are. Now this definitely leads to the front loading of the PvE servers. When you're new, when you're gearing up, you'll be on the PvE servers. When you've leveled a bit and you need more gear, or you need ore, or you're looking to upgrade, you will generally do that on a PvE server because you're almost guaranteed to get it out unless you fail against the mobs. So the PvE servers are very busy, and I constantly found myself chatting to people, talking to people, playing with other people, and escaping with other people. However, when it comes to the PvP servers, they definitely felt like they'd lost a little bit of the adrenaline, because before they were full of people because it was kind of the only real mode, and you had all ranges of people. You had people that weren't very geared, people that weren't very skilled, and then you had the range all the way up to the very geared and very skilled players. Now it feels like on the PvP servers, every single person I ran into was a sweat. They had very good gear, they knew what they were doing, and it was a real hard fight every time I ran into them. And from the people I've met, and from playing on the PvE servers with other people are having a really good time, especially when it comes to fighting the bosses together. That's a really fun experience, because the way these classes play, like if I'm playing on my paladin, I can heal and I can support like a support type class, and then you have like rangers at the back and your wizards at the back, and then you have warriors running in at the front. So it definitely has that ability to play out kind of like an MMO in a way. And I think they've done a very good job of bringing that to the game, but potentially at the cost of the PvP side. But yeah, that's the gameplay. In terms of the combat itself, I think it's incredible. It looks slow, and the first time you play it, it looks a little bit sluggish. The players have these long animations, and it feels like there's a lot of weight to everything you do. But when you play it, I'll be honest, after playing it for a few days, it feels incredible. It's in a way, when you look at Dark Souls, and Dark Souls looks very clunky and slow, but when you play it, you get it, and you realize, if I'm in a big animation and a fast spider is running at me, I've messed up, right? If I'm not in the right position when a charge is coming at me, I've messed up. And that flows all the way through this game. There are very challenging mobs with very challenging abilities that you can get better and you can defeat. However, you can be in really good gear, mess up, and you can lose against like 2 wolves because it's that hard at times. And I think they've done a very good job of keeping this challenging, and it doesn't feel like if you just over gear it, you can just beat everything. It definitely still punishes you even with gear. Okay, so should you play Eldegarde? I think it's going to massively depend on the type of player you want and the type of experience you want. The progression side is top class. This is, I said this last time when I played this, that the progression of building out your hideout, your lodge, building all the different buildings, upgrading them, going to all the different vendors. The vendors have reputations that you can progress and get new gear, and that whole loop. There's like a goblin that has its own like rewards that you can buy boxes with, and that whole loop of the progression in your base and the character progression is 10 out of 10. And if you're looking for that really deep progression with really good combat to back it up, come play this. It's definitely worth it. And I think the game isn't getting enough hype and love as it deserves, because it really is good. Now, I think the division then is going to come between the PvPers and the PvE players. If you want that progression and that go into a map, get the stuff, get out, and you want to fight the bosses, level up your character, get a really good sword, get a really good bow, and you want to play, and maybe you want to play with friends, or you want to meet friends and you want to do the big bosses, get the good loot, you want to find the rare keys and go into those dungeons and buildings and loot the rare chests. And if you want to just play it like a PvE game, I think they've done an incredible job of giving you multiple opportunities to do that. If you like the sound of that, definitely give this a try, and I could end it there. However, there is I always say niche, but there is a niche community of people who love full loot PvP games. I'm one of them, and I love that genre of game, and it feels like they've lost a little bit of that. When you go into PvP now, it is more balanced, it is more fair, and there is less of it from my experience. I can only speak for myself. There has been much less PvP. The PvP lobbies feel a lot quieter, Obviously, the people are fighting each other, so they're going to have less players. But generally, it feels like the majority of people are in the PvE lobbies from what I've played. So bear that in mind if you're coming for a full PvP experience. Be a bit cautious before you know what you're getting into, and maybe lower your expectations for the volume of PvP you might be getting. That said, there is arenas. There is going to be a good PvP focused community, but you never know how big these games are going to be and how long this game is going to last. You don't know if, in a month, if the player count drops, will there still be a huge amount of PvPers? Who knows? And that's one thing I just want you to be aware of. Overall, this game has surpassed my expectations. I played it on the last early access or playtest, whatever it was before when it came out, and I had nothing but good things to say. I thought it was fantastic. It's come out again. It feels even more polished. There's even more to do. There's the new paladin class, and it's incredible. So if you watch this and you have the remote interest of this looks kind of good, just know it is. And if you're even a little bit interested, I'd say it's definitely worth your time. That's an honest opinion. And if you like the sound of it, I hope you enjoy it. But that's it for me. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.